one of the first things I do for my clients is to help them to chart their wealth course. As a coach, I apply coaching tools because I'm a trained coach, I'm a certified coach. I apply neuro-linguistic programming tools as a practitioner in that area. I also apply emotional freedom technique tools. I also apply emotional intelligence tools. And lastly, I also apply financial advisory tools. So I bring in a lot of skills to bear when it comes to working with clients. So the first thing I do is I want to know where you are.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started with this episode.
And one of the things I assure my clients is that whatever we are discussing here is strictly confidential. So this gives them confidence. It gives them assurance. So they are very open. They are very open. Things they don't tell even their wives or their husband. They are open with me because they know that everything is strictly confidential. So I'm able to see the full picture of their finances. I'm able to know, okay, this is how much I earn. These are my debts. This is how much I owe. This is what I've done. These are the mistakes, blah, blah, blah. They're very, very open. So I haven't gained that confidence, that trust with my clients. I see the big picture, and then I'm able to now walk them through. Initially, I don't say this is what you should do. No. So at that point, I use some tools, because sometimes when it comes to money issue, sometimes some of these things are embedded in the subconscious. Basically, maybe the way the person grew, the family in which the person grew, the background, all of these things come to bear when it comes to our financial behaviors. So when someone is spending money anyhow today, it is not, you can't just say, stop spending money. You need to know what exactly happened. What triggered that? So I'm able to quickly decipher, okay, this is what is triggering this kind of disempowering money habit. So we go to that root, we remove that stuff. I use neuro-linguistic programming tools in that area. We remove that disempowering habit, and then we replace it with an empowering habit, the habit that the person desires, the habit that the person wants to use. We replace it with that. And then from that point, so I'm able to, okay, what exactly do you want? What are your goals? What are your financial goals? What do you want to achieve in the next 2 years, in the next 1 year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Let me cite an example. Now, I work with a client. I call myself, I don't see myself basically as a territorial financial advisor. I see myself as a virtual financial advisor. Though I reside in Lagos at the moment, I can work with anybody from all over the world. I work with anybody. The world is now virtual, so I work with everybody. So I work with a client from New Hampshire in US. We worked for a period of like 6 weeks and all that. It was quite a robust series of sessions. So I took him through this process. He had been having issues with his finance. He had realized that anytime he made money, there was this propelling force that forces him to give everything. Something would just compel him to give everything out. And he would think that it was the right thing. So when we began to work together, we looked at the root. What is the root cause? So we now traced it back to when he was in his undergraduate years. When he was trying, there were some things that happened in those days that affected and triggered that behavior. Because, he was concerned. He now had a daughter. He had a family. And so he needed to provide for his family. He couldn't be giving out everything at the point. And he couldn't help it. That was the challenge. He couldn't help it. Each time he got that money, he would just give it away. He couldn't help it. His wife had tried, but he couldn't find a solution. So he now came to me. We looked at that area. We were able to deal with that challenge, that stuff that propelled that habit. We dealt with it. We replaced it. Okay, what exactly do you desire? Okay. So we replaced it with that desirable habit, subconsciously. And then we now brought it back. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve in the next 1 year? What do you want to achieve in the next 2 years? What do you want to achieve in the next 3 years, next 5 years, 10 years? Okay, now said one of the things he wanted to achieve was to get a job in one of the big firms. He wanted to, he was a medical doctor who was pivoting into business. So he was running his MBA program in University of New Hampshire and all that. So he wanted to pivot into consulting, management consulting from being a medical doctor to management, becoming a management consultant. To cut the long story short, so we now created a roadmap for him. We created a roadmap. Okay, this is where you are at the moment. This is where you're going. And these are your goals. So these are the things we are going to do. This is where financial advice comes in. These are the things, the steps we are going to take on a daily basis, consciously. We take these steps and then you'll be able to achieve these goals. And it was so more, we finished the sessions. We had about 7 or 8 sessions. I can't remember how many sessions we had. And then we finished. So he called me a few months later. He had achieved those goals that we set. He had achieved them. One of the things he wanted to do was get a job in a management consulting firm. He was able to get that job. Another goal he had was to pay his debt. According to him, he was on the road to doing that. And then one of his critical goals was to bring his family, his wife and daughter from Nigeria to join him. And he was able to do that. So this just gives you a picture of what I do with my clients. I help them to fast track. First, not just because people say I have goals. You have to be able to be clear, gain clarity. You can just have goals. Those goals may not be in alignment with your core. I have come to realize, let me just start from this point. I have come to realize that a lot of people live in self-denial. A lot of folks live in self-denial. They know that they have issues in their finances, but I don't know what really bothers them or what really triggers this particular behavior. Sometimes we feel, I think it's a human nature stuff, we feel that we can handle it ourselves. And I've realized that many of my clients come to me at the point where they're almost at the brink. You get what I mean? They were living in self-denial. They thought they could do it themselves. Let me cite an example. There's this client of mine I work with who was having serious issue with debt. She came to me when she had gotten to the last thing it had gotten to her neck like this. That was it was at that point that she came to me. What happened? This lady was earning, she earns a lot. She earns about, in Nigerian naira, she earned about 800 and something thousand per month. Yet she was neck deep in debt. She was neck deep in debt. She was, this 800 and something thousand that she was earning per month, she was paying roughly 96% of it as debt repayment, loan repayment. So she was living on just 4%. Imagine someone earning about 800 and something thousand, and the person's living expense, she was only living on about maybe 80,000 a month. It wasn't enough. In fact, it couldn't take her anywhere. It was at that point that she came to meet me. So it was like she had gotten to the last mile. She didn't know what to do. So we worked together. I worked with her, coached her, looked at what really is triggering that. Because there's a trigger, emotional trigger. Something is triggering that stuff. It's not just a rational stuff. It's deep-seated, emotional. Many people, many of us, myself inclusive, many of us need to embrace the importance of leveraging other people's skills. We don't need to go through the hard route of experience. Many clients that I've had to work with were almost at the brink before they got to me, So they don't need to get to that point before they can seek help. Experts, there are different experts. Embrace them. Perhaps, I don't know, maybe people are shy of pain and all that. I don't know, but but I think we just need to learn. It's something I want to learn in this part of the world. Or maybe globally it doesn't work like that. But in this part of the world, people still find it hard because they want, okay, what are you going to do for me? The typical Nigerians say, you're not giving me any stuff. You just talk to me, this and that, and then that's all right. It's a lot, you get what I mean now. You're in Nigeria, you understand.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewanfo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.